I did an event one time where the speaker right ahead of me was speaking on networking, and the title of his talk was Never Eat Lunch Alone. On the agenda right after him, lunch on your own. Some of the stuff just writes itself, okay?
Comedians are an interesting breed. Most of us are great, nice, friendly, and helpful to each other. But once in a while, you get a comedian who pulls a mean trick on another comedian just to give themselves an advantage. Here's a couple of tricks that they pull that I've either experienced firsthand or watched played out right in front of me. First of all, running late. Now, this is usually when there's a long list of comedians performing on the show that night. A comedian who has a spot earlier in the show wants to go on later when the crowd is warmed up. So they show up late and say something like, "Oh, I got stuck in traffic." Yeah, sadly, it usually works and they get the better spot. Next, going over their time. Because they're getting a great response, they don't want to get off stage. So they keep going and going. This causes the person following them to either have to cut down their own time so the show ends on time, or go long and risk pissing off the audience. It's a lose-lose for the person who follows them. Next, doing a similar bit. Now, there is something called parallel writing, where two comedians write about the same topic in a similar way. But if comedian A does it one night and comedian B doesn't, then in general, comedian B shouldn't do their bit at all that week. And they should tell comedian A that, "Hey, I have a bit that's like that, but I'm not doing it." It's kind of a courtesy thing, but I've seen comedians go up and purposefully do a similar bit that the comedian following them is planning to do. And they know that comedian is planning to do it. And it's just rude. Next, making a derogatory comment about them on stage to make themselves look better. Yeah, I once had some crappy sets every single night because the crowd wasn't my style. They wanted dirtier material. The headliner, who was very dirty, would get on stage after me and start off with, "So, are we done with all this clean comedy crap?" Now, I know she was trying to distance herself from me, but gee, it wasn't nice. If she just opened with, "How the F are you?" or maybe a really raunchy joke, they would know that they were in for a different show instantly. Next, playing head games backstage. Saying things like something derogatory to another comment about their outfit so that the comic can second guess themselves, which can then cause the comic to get in their head and hurt their set on stage. The comic who says the comment is hoping that their own show will then shine a lot better. And finally, riling up the crowd just to make it hard for the next comic to follow. Yeah, I once had a comic work the crowd into a frenzy of screaming things out and just about dancing in the aisles, and then he'd finish up and I had to go on to this chaos. He later told me he did it because he wanted to make it hard for me to follow him, and he was disappointed that it didn't work. I was able to follow him, but it was frustrating for me and not the fun week I'd hoped for. The takeaway tip from this is just do your thing and don't get sucked in to trying to make others look bad. It usually backfires and hurts you. That's it for this episode. Thanks for listening. Feel free to check out my website, theworklady.com. This is Jan. Take care and enjoy your journey.